Yes, sir. You know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? It is now rent is due. What are you doing? Hey, man, I appreciate everybody coming aboard. Thank you guys so much. Fastest growing show in Philly and across the country. We can't thank you enough for hitting the like button, super chats, and growing this bitch like no other show on YouTube. I'm telling you, man, all weekend long, I kept getting emails from executives in Philadelphia. I kept getting uh, text messages from, hey, congratulations on the show and how well it's doing. And I think this is all because of you guys. Great weekend in football as well. The seedings are set now for the National Football Playoffs. College football, we're starting to get around there now, getting ready for, without a doubt, we're getting ready for the college football playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. Khalid asked me right out of the gate, because I posted some pictures of Joy Taylor and myself. And my aunt even said something to me, "You're not going down that rabbit hole, are you?" And I go, "No." Joy Taylor, to me, was my former producer for 3 years. I brought her into the business. I put her on the air. She's worked her ass off to get where she is. I don't know what happened outside of what we did, but my wife and I groomed her into being a great executive and a great producer. She was great. She worked her ass off. She used to get me guests. She worked hard. We had a great relationship. And of all the things I've been accused of, you know, the one thing I've never been accused of? Sexual harassment. You know why? I don't give a shit about anything other than, guess what? My show. I don't chase skirts. I chase success. That's the difference between me and the dudes that are in my business. I don't chase skirts. I chase success. Joy had a conversation with me today. You know, I told her, I said, hey, make sure the bullets don't hit you. Just try to stay as low as you can. And welcome to the real world here, man. Look at this. There's the people that are on my phone feed here. There's Joy right there. You guys probably can't see that. John Morgan's there. Jimmy Johnson's there. Joy Taylor's there. I had a great conversation with her. She looks to me for guidance, and I told her, I said, just keep your head low, man. You'll get over this. Don't worry about it. If anything, you might want to use it to your advantage. Men are stupid. I mean, always remember that at the end of the day, men are stupid. So we'll see what happens. Again, hit the like button. We appreciate you guys. Hey, man, that was an incredible football game that we saw on Sunday by Tanner Manning. Tanner Manning. Woo! What a quarterback. That's one of the best called games of the year, too, by the way. About time your passing game looked like an NFL passing game. Instead of 29-03, you got yourself an NFL passing game. Way to go there, Tanner Manning. Tanner Manning is already a better passer than Jalen Hurts will ever be in his career. Hey, I want to show you something. We said something on the pregame show, and we said something a little bit on the postgame show. You know, we were talking, Xander and I were talking about the Vikings and that game last night. Remember what I told you guys? If you were listening, I said this. I went, hey, man, I want to see Sam Darnold when the games matter. I'm not going to indict Sam Darnold on last night's game. If anything, last night's game probably helped him as he gets into the playoffs on what to expect. I'd rather have that game happen to me on the final regular season game of the year than in the playoffs. I was listening to John and Xander. I can't trust that. Okay, well, guess what? I'm not going to dismiss 17 weeks of great football. I'm just not over 4 quarters of football. However, it does raise the red flag that how are you going to play in these games? I think a guy like that learned from that game what to expect. Hey, and by the way, Dan Campbell's attitude was the difference in that game for that football team. Next guy up. We're going to play our ass off. We're going to play hard. The Lions are a better coach team than your team. They're more prepared right now for the physical battles than you are. I heard Xander and John also talking about I can't trust Sam Darnold. So you think Jalen Hurts is ready for the postseason? Having missed 3 weeks? You really think he's ready? Okay. Well, I don't. I don't think he's ready. Hit the like button, my friends. I don't think he's ready. Jalen Hurts has had an awful year. Plain and simple. The team's had a great year. We're going to do our takeaways. We'll go by the numbers, our game balls as well. Okay? How do you know the Eagles aren't fool's gold? What have you fucking won in 3 years? What have you won? Except M. Reyes' admiration for going 14-3. What have they won? Okay? Okay? What have they won? Oh, by the way, today is Black Monday. Coach is getting fired. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. How long before people start turning it into something racial? Because the black coach got fired. I mean, how long? We'll talk more about that as well. 3, 2, 1, go. Go ahead. You can start acting again and bring race into your lives in a conversation. For me, I fucking don't. Small pea-brain people do that. This is about winning. And I don't give a shit what color it looks like. And nor should you. This is about winning football games. How you doing? Hey, and by the way, I would say this to the New England Patriots. Welcome back to the days of Steve Grogan. Welcome back to the days of Steve Grogan. You don't have Tom Brady in the building? Did you actually think you were going to continue the winning that you had up there with Belichick? Welcome back to the days of the Sullivan family. How you doing? All right. We're going to get to the takeaways here in a minute. Man, this is going to be an incredible playoff run. Make no mistake about it. Hey, you know what's fun? You know what's wild? 14-3 and 10-7. It really doesn't matter. You're playing wild card weekend. The Eagles think they're in the 2-hole. You are. You get the home games, which is an advantage to some extent, but not really. You're playing wild card weekend. You're just as good as the Packers. They won 10 ball games. You won 14. That don't mean shit now. It's single elimination games. This is single elimination games. Nobody cares. 14. Hey, just like the year that the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots, doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. This game showed me the Lions defense is vulnerable. Well, I would happen to say Minnesota's offense didn't capitalize when they were down in the red zone. It's true. They didn't. The quarterback didn't capitalize. Okay, and by the way, your passing game has been awful this year. Don't make it sound like you have some balanced football team heading into this. Everybody's got their flaws. You want to hear it? I think Detroit's got flaws on their defense. I'm not sure about the quarterback in Minnesota. And your passing game is the worst passing game of any team in the NFL playoffs. Facts. Everyone's got a dent in the fender heading in. There's no perfect team. You are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? By any stretch of the imagination. You have just as many flaws as Minnesota, as Detroit does. There's question marks everywhere. So who wins? I think this thing's wide open. I feel pretty good going into this Green Bay game. Okay, probably should. Green Bay has kind of backed off the brakes or hit the brakes a little bit here. They're kind of skidding home a little bit. Absolutely. I think the war of attrition has hit them. But, I mean, your quarterback has missed a month of football almost. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on all cylinders because you're not. I mean, you're not. What I would do is pump the brakes and be optimistic about your football team's chances. Now, again, let's do this. Do you have just as good a chance to win the Super Bowl as any team in the postseason? Yes, you do. Don't take everything I say and start crying, okay? The problem that most of you have, or at least half of you have, no, I wouldn't say half, about 25% of you have in here, you hear one little bit of criticism, you start crying like bitches. You just start crying. Okay? If I were you, I'd be concerned with numerous things heading into this game, as Minnesota should be, as Detroit should be. Okay? Feels you missed my super? I did. James Jones, I would never miss your super, man. Why is Tanner looking better than Jalen Hurts with the backups also? How do you like old man Marcus Mariota now laughing out loud? Hey, James, the Redskins got the backups in Philly, the backup quarterback, Marcus Mariota, and the backup wide receiver that they jettisoned off the team, and they helped you win 12 games this year. How you doing? Hey, how about the report out there, too? If Sirianni doesn't win enough games in the postseason, he's fired. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy with over 700 win percentage on the hot seat. Please take Green Bay for the dub, says Tyler. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do one of the topics now. Before I get to you know what I'll do? I'll do my takeaways, and then I'll get to the topic. We'll do game balls. We'll go by the numbers. And then we got a topic here, okay? 20-13 win. No question about it. It was maybe one of the best coached football games of the year. And with backups and practice squad guys, I was shocked. But that's because the prolific passing game that you had on display yesterday in 6 quarters of play. Tanner McKee. This guy's got, what has he got, 4 touchdown passes? Holy shit, that offense looked great with him. You imagine if he had the first team, guys? Pretty damn impressive, man. What I don't get is, too, John Meyer came out this morning and said that they're moving forward with Joe Schoen and Brian Dable. And I would tell you this, Brian Dable, and get this, the girl goes like this to me, prolific. Yeah, he threw for more yardage with the 2 touchdowns than any quarterback in Philadelphia this year. And he's a number 3 team quarterback playing with backups against the first team Giant guys. Yeah, I would say that was a heck of an effort. The Giants played all their starters. Thibodeau was out there. Brian Burns was out there. Okay, all of them. The Eagles had nobody out there. And by the way, Jahan Dotson, he doesn't suck. The guy throwing him the ball does. How you doing? Hit the like button, please. Appreciate you guys here coming aboard here. All right. I would not let Joe Schoen pick my next quarterback. No way. After the decision-making that he had with Saquon Barkley, I thought that was absolutely ridiculous that they're bringing him back. Brian Dable, I kind of get it. Build a freaking football team. It was really a well-played football game. I mean, they had street guys out there. Most of the players that they have that their stars were in street clothes. I thought it was pretty tough looking at Saquon Barkley on the sidelines there, not having an opportunity to go for the record. I think it's weak. I think it's soft. And I think it's Jeffrey Lurie. Soft. Yeah. They got a soft mentality. By the way, Jeffrey Lurie's got a second place mentality, in my opinion. got a second place mentality. That's why he's won 1 Super Bowl in 32 years. Okay? He hangs around the rim. He's a good organization. All of that's true. Man, oh man. How do you like being the Braves of the 90s? I mean, seriously, how do you like being the Braves of the 90s? 1 World Series, all that winning, all that star power, and you came away. Some of you are too young, like Xander. You guys remember those Bobby Cox, Greg Maddux, and John Smoltz, Atlanta Braves? Remember those teams? What'd they win? The National League East 14 years in a row or some shit? They won 1 World Series. You think they underachieved with 2 300-game winners? Another guy with a 270 win total. He's also a Hall of Famer himself. There were 3 Hall of Fame pitchers on that staff. Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddux. And they won 1 World Series. How do you think they did? In 14 years, with those pitchers in that bullpen, they won 1 World Series. I think they underachieved. They underachieved. You had 2 300-game winners and 3 Hall of Fame pitchers. And you win 1 World Series? Okay. Hey, you sound like the Peyton Manning Colts. I won 1 World Championship and all them years in Indianapolis. When you got talent and Hall of Fame talent around you like that, aren't your expectations a little higher? Aren't they a little higher? I mean, they're great players. Only delivered 1 championship. I'm talking Braves and Colts. Hit the like button here. I thought Dallas Goedert was sensational. He looked great for a guy that hadn't played some football in a little time. Boy, he looked awful good, man. I think he's going to be a component in the postseason, especially in the winter months here now that we're in, intermediate passing game. I liked him. I thought he looked pretty damn good. As I said, Tanner McKee, he was absolutely fabulous in the pocket. I'll tell you something, all kidding aside, with Tanner McKee, he does things in the pocket that Hurts will never in a billion years ever be able to do. One is progression reading, and you know what the other is? Pocket presence. He's totally got it, and he can read progressions. He takes the intel, and you can see he processes it faster than Jalen Hurts. And you can see, I think he can process that information faster than even Josh Allen. I mean, you could see he just needs reps. In my opinion, he can read a defense. You see the difference in a quarterback that can read a defense versus one that can't. Ain't nobody worried about no Motor City Cats. Well, if I were the Lions, I'm not worried about the Eagles. I have no concerns about them. Let's go play 60 minutes of football. Goddard's the top 5 tight end when he's featured. Goddard is not a top 5 tight end because Goddard's never healthy. Hey, man, to be considered top 5 anything, you got to play a lot. You can't miss 25% of your football career and call yourself elite. This guy's missed 25% of his career. Nick's calling him a top 5 tight end. You mean he's got top 5 ability? He does. Dallas Goedert's he's got top 5 ability. But can you build a game plan around Dallas Goedert? No. You don't know when he's going to be in the lineup or not. Okay, you just don't know when he's going to be in the lineup. I can't rely on that. You can't rely on guys who are like the Miami Dolphins. They can't rely on Tagovailoa. I think it's the biggest mistake on the planet giving him that contract extension. You know why? There's going to be a spell where the Dolphins are going to miss him in significant playoff months. When you're trying to get yourself a playoff seed, he's going to be injured. I'm not building my team around him. He's not reliable. Dallas Goedert is not reliable. God forbid Jalen still isn't cleared. I trust McKee more than Pickett. He looked cool in the pocket all game. Well, he might have something with him. You really might. I want to see more of him. I do. I think there's a great opportunity to keep developing him. He looks like there's something there. Let's get more reps. How is he going to adapt to the coordinators once they see game film on him and what he can do, positive and minus in ball games, and how you overcome that and continue to get yourself better will be the progression that you're looking for every quarterback. Jalen Hurts since 2021 hasn't gotten better in the pocket at all. Okay? He's a really great athlete. That doesn't make him a great passer, and that doesn't make him a great pocket quarterback because he's not gotten better. Second worst passing year in his career. And some would go like this, well, he missed some games. Well, fuck, dude. That's part of what I told you when it came to being a dual threat guy at the very beginning in 2021. Don't talk to me about missing games. That's the style of play you're dealing with. Deal with it. Deal with it. Okay? Don't talk to me about being injured. That's what it is. That's part of the makeup and evaluation. He's going to miss games. That's what it is. You got top 5 talent. He's hurt too much, sadly. Yeah. Nick, I mean, he's got the talent. He does. Is he Mark Andrews? Probably not. I think Mark Andrews, the guy in Baltimore, is an outstanding player. I got a problem with him. He's been injured the last few years. Okay? He's been injured. So, I mean, I got issues with him. So, hey, and like I said on the pre- and post-game show, what you envisioned Jalen Hurts to look like. Remember all your predictions about 45 touchdown passes and 4,500 yards throwing in the air, Kellen Moore, all the weapons? That fell so short, it's disgusting. It would mean not even remotely close. You're the worst passing game in the playoffs. That's a fact. You're the worst passing game, and your quarter. How about this? How do you feel about having, before I get more into the topics and finishing up on what I saw, how do you feel about you having the worst passing offense in football in the playoffs, and your quarterbacks missed a month of football? Okay? So this guy right here says he would take Hurts over Lamar. Lamar just finished the season at 4,300 passing yards, 42 touchdowns, and 960 yards rushing with nobody on the team except Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is a nice ball player. And remember something, he won the MVP last year without those guys. I think Flowers got 1,000 yards this year, 1,100 receiving. So this is probably the best balance. I think they're getting better. And where they need to get better is on defense. And Lamar's got to get more patient. You know what I think Lamar's problem is? He's got to slow the game down a little more. Hey, man, smoke a joint, kid. Relax a little. Let the game come more to you. Don't force it. I think he forces the ball game a little too much. Okay? I think he forces it. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. Okay? Yeah, get this. Hurts won't even be in the conversation for MVP. It's coming down between Allen and Lamar Jackson for the NFL's MVP. And if you really want to put it out there, it just looks like Lamar Jackson's the best player on the planet right now. I don't know. I saw him this past weekend. He was absolutely sensational. Tanner McKee was sensational in that ball game. Again, I think he really does a nice job at spreading the ball around. 8 different guys saw the football on the field. Hard to believe that he made backup, special team, practice squad guys look good. Hurts never does that. He never makes anybody but A.J. Brown look better. And to some extent, Devontae Smith. The rest of the receivers on that team, and even the tight end, never look good. Unless the guy's hurt. This guy was spreading it all around. And by the way, you know what else I liked about it? There was no primary target out there. You didn't have to get A.J. his touches. Instead, you know what he did? He turned Jahan Dotson into a primary target. And he had 7 catches, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for 94 yards in the ball game. Yeah, it's 7 catches for 94 yards in the game. He made a guy, Hurts had only 12 receptions this year. He had over half of the receptions that he's had all season in one ball game. Against this, playing with backups. Can we pull a Ditka and trade all our picks for Burrow? Guy had a great year. You see that Kansas City team lay down? You know why? Nobody wanted to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Joe Burrow had one of the greatest seasons in NFL history. And again, the greatest thing that Philadelphia has, they have the ability to put together a great roster because the owner spends the money. Unlike some people in the Philly market, I do not believe that Jeffrey Lurie's cheap. I think he spends the money. And get this, you know what he does? He dangles the carrot. Take the money now, it's a little less, or take the money later. And it's never really promised. It's promised to you. And who knows what happens. Look at Bryce Huff. Look at Bryce Huff's his deal. Bryce Huff sucked yesterday. Stop with the pretending. He sucked. He was terrible. He is a terrible football player. He doesn't have one redeeming quality on being on that roster and contributing to a Super Bowl. He has none. He has no redeeming policies or abilities that will help him win the Super Bowl for the Eagles. He has none. He is a colossal free agent. Cancer when it comes to the amount of money you paid for him. He is terrible, Bryce Huff. Just terrible. Okay? It was really great to see the ability to spread the ball around. And again, I got to tell you this too. The player development for the Eagles was on display. They had those guys ready. I believe they had one penalty for no yards in the ball game. No turnovers. It was a well-coached football game with guys who don't get a lot of reps. That's a testament to the player development. They had those guys ready. I thought the New York Giants were one of the worst prepared teams I've seen all year. For guys that were playing for their jobs, it was horribly coached, and I didn't see any talent out there on the field whatsoever with New York. And they're bringing Joe Schoen and Brian Dable back for what? That was so poorly played yesterday by the New York Giants. The Eagles were so far ahead of them. You got beat with 2s and 3s. Okay? 2s and 3s. Terrible. So kudos to the Eagle coaching staff. Those coordinators and the position coaches and the player development coaches all had those guys ready to play. If you're Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, that was an organizational win yesterday. And that's why you're so far ahead of Dallas and so far ahead of New York right now, is because exactly of that. Hey, James Jones, you're in here, and I'm going to tell people this. I saw Cliff Kingsbury's name, and they're doing a great job in Washington. Yeah, I picked them to win the NFC East. Dang it. They won 12 games this year when no one even thought they'd win 6 games. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what they did. Their player development, they're drafting well, and they got a shitload of cap space this coming year. And I would pump the brakes on Cliff Kingsbury leaving Washington. Hey, James Jones, why don't you tell these people why Cliff Kingsbury won't leave Jaden Daniels next year? Let's educate these people on why Cliff Kingsbury, who will be a hot candidate, okay, in the open market with all these jobs that are going to be open. Will somebody tell people why he's not leaving Washington? Does anybody know why? Anybody? Okay, James, tell them why Cliff Kingsbury's not leaving Washington. And Jaden, he's going to get another year of Jaden Daniels to be able to develop him. They love losing. They beat you. Why? Daniels' unfinished product. Bob, come on, Bob. I thought you'd have this one, Bob. Why won't Jaden Daniels not be without Cliff Kingsbury? Why do you think that? Oh, I know why he won't be there. Daniels is the moneymaker? Okay, you guys obviously are not going anywhere. Hey, Dan, I'm a Commander fan. Love your show. My girlfriend is diehard Eagles Man, wish we had a rematch with you guys. Maybe see you in the NFC title game in Philly. I hope you have Angelo on again. We will have Angelo on again. Absolutely. Well, here's why Cliff Kingsbury won't leave. It's very simple. He's still being paid $5.5 million from the Arizona Cardinals, where his contract goes through 2027. So he makes $5.5 million still on the contract that the Bidwells gave him a year ago with that contract extension. He fucking ain't going anywhere. This guy makes like $8 million. He makes more than Nick Sirianni as the offensive coordinator in base salary. Between what they pay him in Washington and what they pay him still from Arizona's contract, they're still paying him. He makes $8.5 million a year. He makes more money than Nick as the head coach. That's why one of the reasons, too, I found out, Xander, one of the reasons was the money issue that the Bidwells had and the Eagles not wanting to pay more because they knew nobody's going to just be signing Cliff Kingsbury. He don't have to work. He's like Frank Wright. He don't have to work. He doesn't have to work. Cliff's making $8.5 million. What the fuck would I leave? Well, why in the world would I leave DC and Jaden Daniels when I'm making head coaching money and I don't have the pressure of dealing with general managers and dealing with an owner? I don't have to worry about that. As long as I'm making the quarterback better, I don't have to go anywhere. Okay? And I think he's a fabulous fit. He's going to be the NFL Rookie of the Year. Somebody in here is going like this: Cliff Kingsbury's not the right fit. No, Kellen Moore's not the right fit for Hurts. Okay? Kellen Moore is not the right fit for Jalen Hurts. Yeah, man, it was a really well-coached football game. It really was. And the Eagles should take a bow on that. They should totally take a bow. Please hit the like button, guys. Sales, watching McKee yesterday, we saw a quarterback who trusted his eyes and his brain. Even with limited reps, he appeared to be able to connect with the dots between his college experience and the speed of the pro game. Yeah, that was, Bob, where it was evident where he needs more reps? When he's rolling out. When he's rolling out and he's on the move, people are assuming that he can't make that throw. That's not true. He just hasn't had the reps to do that. This guy's the third-team quarterback. And he looked like the first-team Eagle quarterback yesterday. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and that entire offensive line, they'd have put 50 points on that Giant team. With Saquon Barkley, they'd have put 50 on him. They'd have put 50. Instead, he's dealing with, by the way, I thought the backups played exceptionally well. I really did. Let's go by the numbers. I want to get to these topics too. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys so much already out of the gate here on a Monday on these Super Chats. I appreciate it. We'll get to the playoffs too. The playoffs are now set, obviously. And we'll also look at Green Bay here in a second here. First downs. Eagles doubled them up 21-10. Vic's defense was sensational again yesterday, even with the backup guys like Trotter and Oren Burks. You want to hear something crazy? Between the Jalen Hurts game and this ball game, the Eagles were 430 on third down versus the New York Giants this year. Crazy. And you pretty much crushed the teams in both games. Never really thought the Giants were going to win that game. They just didn't have the talent. I like Malik Neighbors, too, talking shit to the Eagle fans. Dude, you're on a 3-win football team. How the fuck you talking shit to anybody when you're getting rolled? I don't get it. Total plays, 68-54. 303 in total yards. The Eagle defense with backups held their starters to 238 yards in total defense. That's pretty crazy great. Vic's had a great year. Vic has had a great football year. No turnovers. One penalty for no yards in the ball game. Undisciplined Giants, 6 for 40. How many of those penalties kept series and drives going, jumping off sides? hands to the face of the quarterback. They were so undisciplined. And you bring that guy back? Shit. I mean, crazy. Here's the player numbers. Drew Lock, 22 of 29, 138, touchdown and a pick at the very end of the game. They never went down the field. They were doing everything underneath the sticks. It was a terrible game plan. They never trusted anybody, the Giants I'm talking, to do anything against the backups of the Eagles. You weren't trying to test yourselves versus the Eagle backups. Fucking unbelievably poorly coached. Most attempts by any quarterback in Philadelphia all season long is Tanner McKee, 27 of 41, 269, 2 touchdowns. And I thought he was exceptional out there. I really did. Jalen Elite Hurts going to surprise people in the playoffs, even though I do worry he's not ready. Elite, 29-03. Let me get this right. Saquon Barkley had as many yards almost as Jalen Hurts had, and he was running the ball. Okay, we're good. How you doing? Oren Burke, 17 tackles, 8 solos, 2 TFLs. Who the fuck is this guy? Way to go, Vic. Trotter, 11. A lot of assisted tackles, 2 solo. Hey, Jordan Davis showed up. 5 tackles, 3 assists, and had a TFL. Looked good. Good for him. I'm glad they played his ass. If anybody needs reps, it's him. Okay? I thought he looked good out there. I saw him running down guys. I saw him playing a little more harder out there. I thought it was good that they played him. I was impressed with him. We're going to get to game balls here in a minute. I thought he did well, man. And I think you have to have him playing well next to Jalen Carter heading into this game against Green Bay. I know Eagle fans are just saying it's a layup game already. I got it. You should feel confident. You're 14 wins, right, M. Reyes? You're 14 wins. Even though you're in the wild card weekend, you're a 14-win team, right? Shouldn't have lost to Washington. I mean, Tanner rocking the number 16. We got it, Jared Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff's the number 1 overall player taken. Okay. He was the number 1 overall player taken. I don't know. This guy's a 6th-rounder. Want to hang in there. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Here is my game balls, and here are my game balls for. Then we're going to make a statement. Here's my game balls for Sunday. Then we move on to Green Bay. I like Will Shipley. I liked what Will Shipley did in that ball game. I was pretty good with him, man. Okay? I was pretty good with him. I thought Will Shipley played well. I thought he caught the ball well. And I'll make another. Every time I make a statement like this, everyone goes, so you're comparing him to Christian McCaffrey? No. I'm comparing his skill set to Christian McCaffrey. He can catch the ball like McCaffrey, and he can run in between the tackles. He looks pretty tough. I actually like what he's doing. Jace, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it on the money. Eagles have shown under the Sirianni era that they compartmentalized the season before the bye treated like a preseason. They said under Sirianni, besides the collapse, they turn it up in the playoffs. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. And I'm with you. If it's the right mindset. Again, I don't think you can flick a switch, Jason. Okay, during that Sirianni era, you're right. They compartmentalized the preseason, the regular season, and then they cookie cutter it into the postseason before the bye, treated like a preseason, those first 4 games. And then under Sirianni, besides the collapse, they turn it up in the playoffs. I don't know if that's the right mindset. How about this one here, Jace? You think Detroit had that mindset? Do you think Detroit had that mindset? Detroit's a tougher team than Philly. They're a tougher coach team. They play like it. They look like it. They sound like it. Everything they do They do with toughness. The Eagles do everything with precaution. Your owner said it. We're worried about guys getting hurt. We're worried about guys doing this, and we don't want to lose anybody. You guys play with precaution. The Lions don't. Okay? You play with caution. You play with fear. The Lions don't. I'll take that attitude. By the way, my prediction at the beginning of the season was Lions win the Super Bowl. Okay? I picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl. So they just look tougher. They sound tougher. They play tougher. They do everything tougher than you. The Eagles walk around, yeah, like Tony said, the Eagles walk around on eggshells. That could have been more on display Sunday. All those guys in their uniform or in their street clothes, and the Eagles are afraid of getting them hurt. Fuck, dude, it's football. It's football. Okay? Can't go into games with fear. You guys go like this. I'm not scared of Green Bay. You were scared of New York. Okay? You were scared of New York. We beat Detroit before in their house. We can do it again. Well, good luck to you. It's a different Detroit team. Okay? Just like you were a different team from a year ago, Khalid. You're a different Detroit team from 2 years ago. So let's apply everything here. You think you're the same shit show you were 1-6? But look, there's somebody in here talking about the Chiefs again. Don't ever bring the Kansas City Chiefs up in the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs are a championship franchise. The Eagles are not. Plain and simple. Every time you bring Kansas City up, I hate to do this to you. You're not a championship franchise. Kansas City is. You don't win championships. They do. Okay? Not only is the fact that Hurts is not Mahomes, Sirianni's not Reed. Vic is not Steve Spagnuolo. Hey, as great a job as you think Vic Fangio's done this year, he ain't better than Steve Spagnuolo. He's not. Where the fuck would you get that in your brain? That Vic's a better coach than Steve Spagnuolo. He's got 4 Super Bowl rings as a coordinator. Where in the world would you get that? 4 rings. Steve Spagnuolo's going to the Hall of Fame as a defensive coordinator. You understand that? They got 2 Hall of Fame coaches. One's the play caller, the quarterback, and the D coordinator are all going to the Hall of Fame. I wonder if Detroit wasn't still fighting for the first number 1 seed, would they be so fearless? Hey, DC Trucker, they played that 49er game on a short work week. They didn't have anything to play for. They played all their starters, and they won that football game too. How about that for you, man? Detroit in 6 days won 2 ball games. I mean, that's getting it done. And they played with their starters. Nobody sat. They could have sat everyone in that game, but he don't have that attitude. He's not afraid of anybody. He's not afraid of injuries. He's not afraid of any of that. You can't win a championship if you're afraid of something. I mean, fuck, if you can't row out to sea without any oars in your boat and you have 1 foot on the beach, you ain't all in. Eagles were 2 drops away from being 16-1. Reed never won in Philly. He had to leave because of his son, fresh start. Hey, dog. That's old news. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. And probably when he's retired, he will have the most wins of any coach all time, postseason and regular season. So you can say whatever you want to say about him. He's a Hall of Fame coach. So you can dog him that he didn't get it done. Hey, by the way, Dick Vermeil didn't get it done in Philly. He had to go somewhere else to get it done. So, I mean, you revere Dick Vermeil. How come that is? 2 of your most famous coaches, Andy Reid and Dick Vermeil, couldn't get it done in Philly. They had to go other places to get it done. By coincidence? Probably. Better ownership? Could it be? I mean, I like what Stan Kroenke does. I do. I like, and the Hunt family's legendary. Okay? I mean, how's that possible? And by the way, Vermeil's a Hall of Fame coach. He wasn't going to the Hall of Fame because of what he did in Philly. He's going, and he went to the Hall of Fame because of what he did in St. Louis. We have been the best defense all year. Defense travel seals, yes. I believe our defense and the run game will carry us to our second Lombardi. Okay. Okay. This would be a fact. Hey, that would be a fact. Let me finish this. So I got Shipley at number 10. Okay. Number 9, I got Tristan McCullum. I thought he played really well in the ball game. I liked what he did. He played really well. Hey, man, I like Isaiah Rodgers on special teams. Punt return, put him in kick return. I saw him make a couple plays out there. Isaiah Rodgers is pretty good in that game on Sunday. I liked him. He flashed for me. Looked good, man. I like Isaiah Rodgers. There's only one Andy Reid, but you keep comparing Sirianni to a coach that's been doing it for over 20 years. Not a fair comparison. Not a fair comparison to compare a coach. Okay, how about Sean McVay? He's younger. You think Nick Sirianni's a better coach than Sean McVay? He's won 4. He's younger. He got the job when he was 30. And he at 30, you understand? He's younger than Nick. At 38, I think it is now, he's won 4 division titles, 2 NFC titles, in a Super Bowl. Nick's won 1 NFC title. Lovie Smith won an NFC title. Would you put him in the same conversation? Lovie led the Bears to the Super Bowl. You think Lovie's in, you know what I'm saying? And for the record, maybe it comes with the job. I've never seen a guy have a higher win percentage like this, and his job's on the line, and there's question marks on whether or not, if he doesn't go far, he's going to get fired. I don't believe that. I don't think the Eagles would have the balls to do that. If that guy fails in the opening round against Green Bay, and God forbid they stumble and they get beat, do you think they'd fire him? I don't. I do not think they fire him. Won too many ball games, right, M. Reyes? Right? Hey, by the way, let me ask you guys something. Okay? M. Reyes said something great. Guy never misses the playoffs. Nick wins. When are you going to win a Super Bowl? This year? Next year? Year after? When are you going to win? If they don't win the Super Bowl this year, next year, you'd be okay with him coming back next year, having wasted 2 14-win seasons? I'm just asking. Okay. Hey, M. Reyes is like, bring him back. Okay. He's only 4 years in. Bring him back. Okay. Hey, I see the Giants. They do stupid shit too. Bringing Brian Dable back. 4 years as a coach. Okay. Jared Merrill got 1 year. You know, I mean, you're replacing Belichick. Well, he won so few games. What did you think he was going to do? Win the AFC East? I mean, what were your expectations in New England? AFC East title? 10 ball games? Nobody in their right mind looked at that roster and said they're going to win 5 games. Should Tanner start in the playoffs? No, absolutely not. Tanner McKee should not start in the playoffs. This is Jalen's sailboat. This is all on him. This is all on that guy. Absolutely not. You pay that guy $50 million. Let's fucking go. It's time. Shit's done. The money that's been spent, the player talent you have, don't be the 49ers and lose an opportunity and your window closes. Well, our window won't close. Well, something's going to be fucked up if you don't win the Super Bowl. And you're right. It'll be 4 years of underachieving. Hey, you're right here, man. Come the second week of February, Sileo, I told you. I told you. You will have that right. You see, the difference with me and other people, I put it out there. Got receipts, Sil. I do my show for that reason, like that way. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Get this. This guy said I've been wrong all year. I've not been wrong about your quarterback. I thought you guys would win 9 games because of the defense. Defense came around. Very few people thought that, even the coordinator. He's right. I did think the Lions would win the Super Bowl. I'm looking pretty good with that right now. I did think the Lions would be home field advantage. Looking pretty good with that right now. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. And I said once again, Hurts will never throw for 4,000 yards ever in his career. Ever. Shit, he couldn't even throw for 20 touchdowns this year. McVay, 7 years, Sirianni 4. Let's try this again. Okay. What was the first year that Sean McVay went to the Super Bowl? Year 2? He got beat 14-3 by the Patriots. Is that right? And then in his 4th year, he won the Super Bowl. Is that correct? Let's try again. Okay, let's try again. How you doing? Okay. I got Jordan Davis, number 7 for my game ball. Hey, man. I like the way Trotter played. Need some more reps. Got some false steps out there. Look at my boy, Maniac, right there, man. I love that guy. How you doing? I thought Trotter looked good. And I thought he looked bad. Okay, I did. I thought he looked good. Thought he looked bad, but I thought he made some plays out there. It was pretty good with him. The backup line was great. Fred Johnson's going to make himself some money, man. I liked how he plays. He looks good out there. It's a testament to Jeff Stoutland, to say the least. Okay? Dallas Goedert, game ball 4. Outstanding. I thought he looked great. Now, can he stay healthy? Oren Burks gets game ball number 3. Vic Fangio. Just plug a dude in, and Vic can just sprinkle his wisdom dust on these guys, and these guys go out and perform like that. I mean, pretty crazy. Him and Trotter playing inside. There were mistakes made, but I think that's got a lot to do with reps. Get these guys more reps. One thing about Trotter, he's not very fast. Unlike his own man. His own man is fast. He's not fast. I'll tell you one thing he does well. He makes the proper steps and fills. He's a good-looking ball player, man. Let's give him some more reps. Okay? Let's give him some more reps. Yeah, Dotson gets game ball number 2. Yeah, I would say that's true, Mr. International. I think Trotter's exceptionally smart. I think his dad has schooled him well and prepared him well. All the views and things that he's going to see out there when he's inside the triangle, I think he does a really wonderful job, and I think he just needs more reps. I mean, like I said, if I were to grade him, I'd probably grade him at about a 75. If I were to grade Oren Burks, I'd probably grade him 70. Okay, there were a lot of mistakes, but there were a lot of plays. You know, if you make plays and make mistakes, that kind of offsets one another. Because that means you're kind of a playmaker. I know a lot of people who play the ball game like that. They're just not going to play proper technique and inside the guardrails. So you got to give some latitude. Their mistakes are going to be bigger, and they're going to look bigger. Not everybody plays with proper technique. Hard to play with proper technique. Okay. And Tanner Manning actually made the Eagle passing game look decent in the ball game. It was a well-coached, well-played game for backups. I liked it. I know some of you didn't because most of you weren't really looking at what football is. It doesn't really matter what the name is on the back of the jersey. You got a true look at what your organization does when it comes to practices, when it comes to preparation. If you could prepare backups like that, that gave me a lot of hope that their game plans every week are pretty good. If you can game plan backups, second and thirds like that to play in a ball game, you pay attention to detail. At least that's what I took away. Green Bay sweet like a cannoli. Watch Hurts get benched in the Super Bowl at halftime for McKee. McKee wins it all. How you doing, Sig? Never happened. I'm keeping that guy out there. I'm paying him $50 million, and I'm anchored to that guy with my salary cap. They're not doing anything like that. That would up. Why do you think they didn't bring why they didn't bring Justin Fields in? They don't want any kind of competition back there for that guy, and nor do they want any Philadelphia media guy or any Philadelphia fan screaming for the backup. Look at what you guys are doing with Tanner McKee now. Can you imagine if you had Justin Fields back there? Never happened. That's why they signed the lesser of the two. Kenny Pickett's not a threat to Jalen Hurts. Justin Fields would have been. Justin Fields was a threat in Pittsburgh. He was 4-1. And he fit. Didn't Justin Fields fit more of the style of play of Hurts than what Kenny Pickett does? Okay? I mean, nobody really believes that Kenny Pickett was the better free agent signed at quarterback than Justin Fields. Nobody believes that. Okay? No, nobody believes that. Okay? But for the record, I think both those guys are bums. I wouldn't have any of them. But if you're going to give me the choice between Pickett and Fields, I'm going Fields. Why? Well, it's how you built the team around Jalen Hurts. Sills, what is it like in the locker room when people think the backup is better than the starter? We all saw Wentz fall apart in the Super Bowl. It divides the room. It divides the room. Sirianni went to a Super Bowl a year after he was hired. How you doing? Great, phenomenal. Vic and Stout are a godsend to this generation. Well, they will be if you win it. Okay, they will be. Sirianni went to a Super Bowl a year after he was hired. How you doing? Hey, DC, if you're trying to say that Nick Sirianni's a better fucking football coach than a play-calling head coach in Los Angeles, you're out of your mind. He has no job. Nick Sirianni, he has no job. And he lies. His job is lying for a living. I learned that last week. His job is lying to you. That's what his job is lying. Right? Lying. Pittsburgh is a class organization. That's why they've only had 3 coaches in 65 years. Okay? Look at this guy. Tomlin's an average coach. I don't debate that. I'm not going to debate stupidity. It's really an asinine comment. That a guy who has not had a losing season in 18 years is overrated. He's overrated. Okay. Okay, he's overrated, 18 years. Yeah, Mike Tomlin is overrated. From now on, when Senorita posts anything, take it with a grain of salt. That Mike Tomlin, he just said, is overrated. Okay. Are the Steelers playing with a great roster right now? No. Are they playing good football? No. Are they one of the better roster teams right now? No. They're one of the best coach teams right now. Okay? Pittsburgh doesn't have a lot of talent. They've got to do a better job at drafting. They completely do. Okay? Pittsburgh's got 6 Super Bowl rings. So before you start crowing about the Eagle organization, win one more. Then we could start a little bit of a debate on how good you think you are over the last 32 years. They've got 6 rings. Okay? 6 rings. I mean, I might want to hang on to that. You might want to hang on to that one. All right, here we go. Marcus Hayes is going to join us at 3:30 at the bottom of the hour. We're hoping to catch up with our friend Gary Cobb. That'll be at the bottom of the 4:30. We're going to get Xander in there too. I hope we're able to do that. And we're able to do that. If not, we're going to put Xander potentially in there at 4:30. So right now we'll put Xander in there at 4:30. And we'll see where Gary is. And hopefully we're able to catch up with him. A lot of news going around the Eagles, especially as they get ready for the wild card weekend. Make sure you hit the like button. I appreciate it. I'm going to make a statement here. Then we're going to look at the Packers and Eagles. And we're going to compare them as we go into this weekend's playoff game on Sunday. And we'll look at all the games as well. I'm going to make this comment here. And you can mark the tape, January 6th at 3:06 Eastern time. The reason the Eagles will not win the Super Bowl is because Jalen Hurts. And you can post that. You won't win the Super Bowl because of Hurts. Not the roster. Hurts will be the reason you don't win the Super Bowl. Plain and simple. It's not real science here. And it's not really that much of a leap. But the reason you won't win the Super Bowl is because of your quarterback. Missed a month. Had a horrible year. I'd say horrible. Let's say this. Underwhelming. That's being kind. Never utilized his weapons. And the excuses are, well, Barkley had a great year. And that's not quite what I saw in Detroit or Baltimore or to some extent, Green Bay. Those guys threw the ball and ran the ball. Do you understand that Derrick Henry only outrushed, Saquon only outrushed Derrick Henry by how many yards? Like, what was it, 70? 80? Don't make it sound like he blew Derrick Henry away. Derrick Henry had 1,900 some odd yards. It wasn't like he blew the doors off to Henry. Henry had 1,900 plus yards. He wasn't the reason last Super Bowl was the defense. Well, I'm telling you, he hasn't gotten better since 21 or 22. He hasn't gotten better. Says Hurts nearly won the Super Bowl. Come on now. Okay. I'm telling you, your reasoning or my reasoning for you not winning the Super Bowl is your quarterback. Your quarterback is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. He's going to win a lot of games. You could make the argument he and Lamar Jackson have a lot in common. They win a lot of games. They win a lot of games. And Jalen's been a benefactor at 3 places he's been at the last 8 years. Bama, OU, and Philly. And he's never won a championship in any one of those places. I don't know. Don't make it sound like this guy's won championships. He hasn't. This guy's not a championship quarterback. Same reason Lamar's not. I mean, there's no championship pedigree. Okay? Okay. So you're saying they look the same? No, I'm not saying they look the same. Lamar's 10 times a better player. But Lamar's got to win too. Well, I mean, both guys have losing records in the playoffs, albeit Jalen's been to the Super Bowl. I get it. Played terrible in a divisional game. played somewhat decent in the NFC title game. Nothing great. If you look at the numbers, they weren't anything to write home about. And he's not going to win 4 games in a row like Josh Allen isn't. He's not winning 4 games in a row. He's never played 4 games in a row or consecutive games in a row at a high level. Where? Mahomes plays at a high level every week. Okay? Even Stafford plays at times in the playoffs at a high level. Get this. Nuclear says it's 3 games. Really? Wild card, divisional, NFC title game, and Super Bowl. At the University of Miami, that's 4 games. You're under the impression you have a bye. You don't. It's not 3 games. It's 4 games that you have to play. Wild card, divisional, conference title, Super Bowl. 4 games in a row. You don't have the bye. That was afforded to 2 other teams the opportunity last night to play for. You don't. Okay? So, how many people in here believe what I say? The reason the Eagles won't win the Super Bowl is because the quarterback. Out a month, underwhelming this year in the passing game, and in my opinion, you're going to need the passing game to win that Super Bowl. Okay? Who's my MVP? Tomorrow I'd vote for it. We'll all do it here. We've already done the Maxwell MVP, the Burt Bell. We have another one, NFL Players Association MVP. We'll do that tomorrow. Okay? Tell me, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Jalen Hurts has an opportunity here to shut my hole once and forever. I'm putting myself there too. I will look like the biggest jackass on the planet if he wins that Super Bowl. I don't believe it. I don't believe he's going to lead them to a Super Bowl. I don't believe he's going to win 4 in a row. Some of you are going to go, well, what about Barkley? The only reason that it will be close is because Barkley. Okay? Barkley's been the MVP of your team, not your quarterback. Hey, let's do this for a second. Let's take a look at this. Here are the playoff games. And you tell me what you think when I make this comment, and you tell me if it's false or true. And I'll go with what you guys say. Fair? Here is the NFL schedule this weekend. Okay? The LA Chargers versus Houston. The MVP of the Chargers has been Justin Herbert. The MVP of the Houston Texans has been C.J. Stroud. The MVP in Pittsburgh has been T.J. Watt. And I don't really think that anybody believes Pittsburgh has a shot to win the Super Bowl. Baltimore, it's Lamar Jackson. Denver, it's Bo Nix. Buffalo, it's Josh Allen. Green Bay, it's Jordan Love. Philly, it's Barkley. Washington, it's Jaden Daniels. Tampa Bay, it's Ben Mayfield. Minnesota, I know we played horrible last night. It's been Darnold. And the Rams, it's been Stafford. So, the only 2 teams in the postseason that aren't driven by their quarterbacks are Pittsburgh and Philly. I mean, am I wrong? Your quarterback doesn't lead your drive to this Super Bowl. This is going to come down to Saquon Barkley keeping you in the game. Okay, what's wrong? What's wrong about it? Somebody said I'm wrong. What am I wrong about? Yeah, look at this guy. Who the fuck threw the ball to him? So you can't lean on your quarterback in Philly. You're leaning on your run game and your defense. Same Pittsburgh, right? Your defense and your run game. Pittsburgh's just a lesser version of Philly with lesser talent. The rest of these teams have a puncher's chance because of their quarterback. That's why. Hey, man, look, let's do this. Let's rank the quarterbacks that are in the postseason right now. Let's do that. What do you think? Then we'll look at Green Bay versus Philly. Let's rank the quarterbacks. Hey, Bob Brown, are you in here? There you go, Bob. I see you there. Bob, you tell me if I'm wrong here. Let's rank the quarterbacks that are in the postseason. Fair enough? All right. One is Mahomes, right? 2 is Allen. 3 is Lamar. 4. Who would be 4? Matthew Stafford or Jaden Daniels? Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. Who would be 4th? Who would be 4th? Bob, who would you? Stafford? Super Bowl winner? Okay. I'd put Daniels 5th. I'd put Mayfield 6th. By the way, Mayfield beat the Eagles twice in 2 games in a row. Once in the playoffs and beat your doorknobs off this year again. I'm talking, no, Geo Birds. I'm not ranking quarterbacks in the league. I'm ranking playoff quarterbacks. Oh, Jesus, right. I forgot golf. Hang on for a minute. I got to start this over. You're dead on. Defense, strong running game, and winning the turnover battle wins championships. Really. And that quarterback play. I could show you over the last 15 Super Bowls. The most elite quarterbacks win the Super Bowls. The only guy not to do it is Foles. Here we go. You're right. I forgot golf. Shit. Mahomes. Would you put golf second over Josh Allen? Then would you? I mean, I'm going to put Josh Allen here. I'll put Lamar 3rd. I'll put golf 4th. I'll put Stafford 5th. Mayfield 6th. Herbert 7th. Bo Nix. Jalen, who has the worst numbers of any guy this year. So remember something with that. 2903. Even rookies outplayed him. So put that into context. Love missed 3 games or 2 games. Still had better numbers. So let me say here, I think after 7, I don't care where you put them. I would say this. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Goff, Stafford, Mayfield, and Herbert. And after that, you can put the rest of them guys in there. Bo Nix, Hurts, Daniels, Russell Wilson. Sure. I don't care where you put them. After 7, those are your top 7 guys that have had great years this year. I mean, that's how I would rank them. Who in their right mind would rank Jalen Hurts over people that have had a great year this year, and he's done nothing? And he wasn't relied on to do anything. Hey, some would go like this. Well, Sills, they didn't ask him to do anything. Well, okay, that kind of defeats the purpose of what we just did then. Okay? Burrow, hey, once again. And by the way, Chargers in Houston Saturday, I've got the Chargers winning that game. I think the Chargers are better coached, and their defense is better. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, taking Baltimore. Denver, Buffalo. I got Buffalo at home. Washington, Tampa. That's going to be a tough one. Washington has to go on the road with Todd Bowles. And you got Dan Quinn and Todd Bowles. That's going to be a low-scoring football game. Tampa Bay, though, man, they're playing really decent football. Washington won 12 games this year. I'm probably going to take the Commanders in this game. Even though I like the way that they run the ball with Bucky Irvin down there now. Minnesota and the Rams, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams upset them, Minnesota, but I'm going to take Minnesota. I disagree with Xander and with John. I'm not putting 4 quarters of football and saying those guys suck. That's not what I'm doing. Is it a red flag? I said that on the pre- and post-game show. Let's see what Darnold does. Hey, if I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm so happy that happened in a way. Did you even hear Dan Campbell, what he said to Kevin O'Connell at the end of the game? I'll see you in 2 weeks. He knows that team's good. They just didn't play well. He knows that. You don't think Brian Flores is going to make adjustments on the other side of the ball? Like John McMullen said, hey, 3 executed opportunities down in the red zone. That game is something. They'll play better. I don't surrender like that. They're glad it happened now. Okay? Vikings look like trash. Well, unfortunately for you, you're playing in the wild card. They were playing for home field advantage yesterday. And they won as many games as you did in a tougher division. We'll find out. You kicked around the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Commanders. They had to fight the Packers and the Lions twice. The toughest division in football. Look at Eagle fan. Are you under the impression your 14-3 record is better than the Minnesota Vikings record? I mean, they played in a tougher division. They played in the best division in football. I mean, I'm not saying the Eagles didn't play anybody this year, but don't give yourself pats on the back that you had a tougher schedule than them, because that's not the case. They had to play tough games every week. Also, let's take a look at that and tell me. Let's see how many tough. Let me take a look at this for a second. Don't forget, Marcus Hayes is with us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour here, coming up here in a couple minutes here. So they beat Green Bay, which you guys did. They lost 31-29 to Detroit early. They beat a 10-win Seattle team. They beat Green Bay again, and they lost to Detroit. And remember something. They had to play Green Bay twice, and they had to play Detroit twice. And they took 2 L's to them. No question. San Francisco was healthier when I still look at that now after the fact you can't do it. And they did drop one to the Rams. That's another game that they're going to have to play on Monday. And that game was what? It's pretty close, but the division was tougher. I'll take the division. Brian Pumper. We have to give Hurts a short leash on Sunday. Nope. Any evidence of midness, we have to go with Tanner. McKeester will be the McFeastering on the secondary of the Green Bay Packers. McFeastering. Hey, how about this, Brian? No way. No short leash. This is Hurts' ball game. This is Hurts' ball game, dude. No way. You're living and dying with this guy. Absolutely no way. If you yank him, You're yanking him for good. Okay? You're yanking him for good. You're not yanking Jalen Hurts. Absolutely not. Marcus Hayes from the Philadelphia Inquirer is going to be with us. Some noise was made last week here on the program with Angelo Cataldi. Plus, we're going to get his spin on what he sees with this Eagle team heading into the postseason. By the way, do we have any latest news on Jalen Hurts? As we went on the air, Xander, have you heard anything? Is he out of concussion protocol? Or are the Eagles once again playing some sort of charade game with us and where we are with his health? Are they trying to fool people or something? I don't know. That he's still in the concussion protocol. Is he out of it? I'm assuming he's out of it. Right? Hurts is still in the protocol? I don't know. I mean, I see all these other quarterbacks getting banged up. They can put him right back in there. Been 2 weeks now. Okay. I mean, 3 weeks almost. He's out. Great. Great. I want him playing Sunday. Oh, you can guarantee that. I want him playing on Sunday. Okay? I totally want him. Hey, Xander, do me a favor, my friend. Make sure you send Gary Cobb a link, please, for 4:30. Appreciate that. So we'll have Marcus Hayes coming up here in a minute, and we will have Gary Cobb. That'll be at 4:30. So, yeah, hey, guys, so he is out of the protocol? Fantastic. Okay. Really good. That's good news to hear. All right. Green Bay versus the Eagles on Sunday. How many people like this matchup? How many people like this matchup? Eagles versus Packers in the opening round, wild card. Brian goes, I don't. I like it a lot. Sue says, I do. I like it, says Maniac. Senorita, love it. Ish, love it. Tony, I like it. You should. You should. By the way, the difference with me talking to you versus a Philly talking to you, okay? I don't talk to you with pom-poms. Okay? There lies the difference. I don't talk to you with pom-poms. I don't cover anybody with pom-poms. Even my Canes. I don't cover them like that. I'm to the point. And actually, what I do is I talk to you like I was talked to by coaches. Okay? I don't talk to you with pom-poms. I give credit when it's there. I see it. And I give criticism when I don't. Why do you think you guys think that I'm so hard on Jalen? Because I think you're under maximizing the talent you have in your huddle with a lesser quarterback. And I think he's good. I just don't think he's good enough. We have to give Hurts a short leash on Sunday. Any evidence of Mendez? We have to go with Tanner. McKee will be McFeastering on that secondary. Sills, Jaden started in Tampa. Ali has to finish in Tampa. I still can't get over. Tanner's better than Jalen Hurts. And it was with the bench. James, absolutely. I mean, McKee looks better in the pocket. He's got a better pocket presence. But, again, he's not ready. That guy's not ready to start an NFL playoff game. That guy's not ready to start 3 games in a row yet. He needs a lot of work, Tanner McKee. You're just not going to drop that guy in there. He needs more reps and work. You know how he does that? Get rid of Kenny Pickett. He needs a lot more development. He absolutely does. Okay? He totally does. I'm getting rid of Pickett in the offseason. Continue to develop him. Get him reps when needed. Okay? He's just not ready yet. That was a really good game. That was a preseason football game, kind of in a way. Okay, it had a preseason feel to it. So to me, again, I mean, he's just not ready yet. But I like what I see here in the process. Marcus Hayes is going to join us here in a minute. So, hey, Pumper, I get what you're saying. Hey, McKee looks like he has better skill set things in the pocket than her. He does. Processes the intel better. He reads defenses better. I think he's got better footwork. He has to have better footwork than Jalen. You know why? He can't utilize getting out in the perimeter and running. Hey, by the way, you want to see one of the most unathletic things on the planet? Have Tanner McKee continue to run that tush-push. I'll show you a non-athletic guy. But all the people that, the most popular player in the NFL on every team is the backup quarterback. So always remember this when you're looking at what he did on Sunday. Okay? He's not ready. Hey, Sills, do you think it hurts? That's an asinine comment that Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's no leash. That guy couldn't start 3 games in a row right now without NFL coordinators ripping Tanner McKee apart. That's not ready yet. He needs more reps. It was obvious when he was rolling out in the perimeter. Okay? The sacks and the pocket presence. Kid, don't step up so much. Keep your poise. Keep your feet. Hey, did I like that he can process and I think he can read a defense, and I think he's got better footwork back there in the pocket. As I just said, the reason he does, he can't run like Hurts. He's got to have better feet like Manning. Manning and Brady had to be technicians in the pocket. Why? Because they can't do what Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts does. Shit breaks down, they can break out in the perimeter. Okay? How many times has Tom Brady said he wishes he could do what those guys did? He can get away from trouble. I mean, so to sit there and go, well, Sills, we saw something special. No, you saw promise. And it was a key moment for the player development of the Eagles. No penalties, really. They had 1 with no yards and no turnovers. That's a great coach game. And it spoke to the player development. That was an organizational win yesterday. Really well done. And what I like, I'm going to bring in Marcus Hayes here in a second. If you're an Eagle fan, you love the fact you heard John Mara go, I'm bringing Joe Schoen and Brian Dable back. I'm like, that team was not prepared. That team was not well coached. That team was not well funded with players. That thing looked like a train wreck. So if you like what's going on in Dallas right now and you like what's going on in New York, you're an Eagle fan, I keep saying, hey, keep the course. All right. That being said, I couldn't wait to get Marcus Hayes'. I couldn't wait to get his opinion on Tanner Manning and what he saw yesterday with Tanner Manning.